but she used to help out the fair.
Pat was chair of the baby department, the chairman of the baby show for, 20 years,
Yeah,
30 years.
that's after she moved up here.
Long time, yeah.
She moved up when she graduated from school, and she lived there where Margaret Hindle's house until she got a boyfriend. And she also went to Pratt Whitney and worked. She used to ride with me, in fact, but she didn't like it, so she started a day school, which Russ went to.
Lisa went there too.
Lisa went to it.
I was the only walker.
Oh,
Everybody else had to have their parents drive them, but I could walk to preschool.
well, I didn't tell you about my dad's school bus business. But when Olga died, Dad offered to take her job, take the kids to school. And it started off with a little car, and Haddam Neck started to grow a little bit, and then he got a bus. That's the bus John Kruger bought. So when Dad retired, John Kruger bought the bus from him.
Interesting. So who paid them to drive the bus? The school system?
Yep, the town paid him.
But they owned the bus.
No, he hadn't owned the bus. He owned the bus. Yep. Yeah, he bought his first bus from Williams and Chevrolet in East Haddam. Down through and never start in the cold weather.
Oh.
So he had no use for Chevys, and that was a Chevy. So then he went to Longworth and Carlson and Middletown and bought a Ford. And boy, he loved that Ford because it would start every
It
year.
would start.
And of course, they didn't keep the roads up like they got today. So in the winter, Dad would have to get up early in the morning or put the chains on at night. So you get to 151, and the roads are pretty clear because the state took care of the road, but they also took care of Rock Landing Road, but not as well as they did the other road. So he ended up taking the kids to Middle Haddam School with chains on most of the time, and they were all the time breaking, because you can't. But you needed them in Haddam Neck, so what are you going to have to do? You get to Haddam Neck, you've got to put chains on again.
Now, did you have chores as a child?
Pardon?
Did you have chores?
Chores?
Yeah, chores. What were your jobs? Did you have to milk the cows?
Milking the cows. Dad took care of turkeys pretty much himself. Yeah, well, I had chores. I had a lot of lawns I was mowing.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where Jack Harris lives now, his aunt of his wife's, she had a boarding house there too.
Really?
I used to mow that. Yeah. And then farther down, Newman, right across from where Ruth lived, in that house, because that's all been rebuilt. And it's a mess now, you can't even get near there. I used to mow that lawn. But they just come up in the summer, so I used to watch after the yard. And then where Buckley's live, I used to mow that lawn.
Who lived there?
Johnson girls.
Johnson.
They were school teachers in New York. They used to just come up in the summer.
So in the 30s and 40s, there were a lot of summer people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because that's what Alan Carlson, his family just came up for the summer too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they lived in New Haven.
New Haven, okay, yeah.
They had a little bungalow right next to Jack Harris's place
Yeah,
there.
that's what Alan told me, yeah.
And then her uncle, he lived in the back, George Carlson.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hear when George was alive.
No.
But he got me into the Fair Association,
Well,
and he got me into the Cemetery Association.
Yep. How long have you been going to the church? The
I
congregation?
was baptized there,
You were baptized, okay.
and I was married there.
Okay.
My wife, she joined the church after we were married, I think. I can't remember if it was before or afterwards.
And where was she originally from, Mary? What town was she from?
Who?
Your wife.
Well, before we were married, she was living in Haddam Bridge Road. You go up
Oh,
the
yeah.
top and you go across, there's a red house there.
Mhm.
That's where she lived.
All right.
Her mother bought that house. But before that, she lived down in South Carolina. Because her father was the commander in the Navy.